If I put you in a CTO role right now, how would you build out your digital strategy for a care anywhere kind of solution to maybe compete against the Amazon Care, the CVS, and the Optums as they move into your market?
Yeah, man, that's a good question and it's a tricky one, right? Like there's a lot of different ways that this can go, but you asked me very specifically about what I would do and how I would compete. Well, I think it's co-opetition is what is going to win, honestly, in this case. So, just today there was an article and I was actually looking it up while you were talking. Our good friends over at General Catalyst, the VC firm. So Hemant Taneja, who I know fairly well. I've talked to him several times, met him when I was out living out in the valley. He's a great guy. I mean, he did the Livongo thing, right? And it's just crazy what he's done in healthcare. So he and his buddy Glenn Tolman got back together and just formed a new company that was just came out of stealth today. It's Transcarent is what it's called. Transcarent. And essentially what it is they're using the Livongo playbook and they're applying it to the employer-sponsored healthcare system. So they're going after this whole market where the employer, a vast majority, I don't know what percentage of insurance out there is employer-sponsored, but it's big. And so they're going in and they're trying to say,
But
okay,
you know what? Even if it's not big, it's profitable. It is.
absolutely, exactly. It's big in one way or the other, right? So what they're doing is that they're going in and they're using this whole Silicon Valley mentality of creating a consumer first application with the consumer at the center. And they're actually building a platform. They built and launched a platform that allows employers to provide this to their employees so that the employees can very quickly, based on the insurance that they have and the coverage that they have, very quickly get connected to a doctor within seconds, get information on the closest place to get rehabilitation, those sorts of things. And it's essentially their business model, which is really interesting here, is like, and I was just reading it this morning, actually. The business model is that they're not charging employers on the front end. They're charging employers a percentage of what they save by facilitating this sort of access to their employees on the back end. So the reason why I mentioned this is like, there's a lot of different folks coming at this healthcare quote unquote problem from different angles. So if you actually look at what Hemant and Glenn are doing, that's sort of saying, okay, we want to improve the consumer experience given the existing capabilities and circumstances that consumers have to go through. They're insured by the employer. The employer has certain agreements with healthcare providers. Let's just consolidate that information so you don't have to spend a lot of time figuring it out. Doesn't that sound a lot similar to what Amazon is doing in terms of sort of saying, hey, I'm going to give you very quick access, right? So now if you go from the employer side and you go to the Amazon side, it sounds very, very similar as to what they're doing. Then there's this whole other class of folks that are focusing on some very specific things, which I think is really admirable. And I think that optimization is key. So they're focused on the problem of eliminating waste in healthcare. And there's statistics out there, which I don't have in front of me, that I actually have done a whole bunch of research on. But it's amazing as to how much waste there is in healthcare. And the waste is broken down into different categories. So JAMA had a bunch of articles that they released that I studied, and I sort of pulled this information out a little while ago. Well, one of the categories that is about 20 to 25% of the overall waste is administrative, right? So if you solve the administrative issues that exist in healthcare, the claims rejection, the number of times you have to submit them, all the work you have to do, the number of people you have to do the work, et cetera, leveraging technology, I think you're moving the needle forward, right? So you're asking me how I would do it. I think the short answer is I don't know, because if I knew, I would already be doing it. But I think the longer answer is it's a blend of these things that are, I think, going to come together, and especially as the regulation changes, et cetera, reimbursement models change and so on. I think that it's going to be sort of a mesh or a blend of these things that have to come together to really make a